Hello, who's there? Hello, who's there? Thanks for dropping by. This is Entrepreneur's Experience. We'll be discussing everything about being an entrepreneur from idea stage to startups to growth to challenges and solutions to these challenges. I'll be sharing my personal experience and I'll bring other entrepreneurs on board to share theirs too. Please rock with me. You don't have to do it alone at this time. My name is Abele Udo, and today we'll be discussing a very serious problem no entrepreneur wants to talk about. It's called mental health. A recent study shows that entrepreneurs are 50% likelier than average person to suffer from mental health. They are also 10% likelier to exhibit bipolar syndrome and twice as likely to have suicidal thoughts or be hospitalized for psychiatric reasons. This is very important to note because the level of pressure that entrepreneurs and startup teams face on a daily basis is nothing that regular people experience. Let's take, for example, in a working environment, they have easier ways to define success metrics. They have compensation, they have project end goals, but an entrepreneur's work is seemingly never done, and financial gain are rarely stable variables. This journey of entrepreneurship is an isolating experience. Entrepreneurs often have few distractions when they're launching a startup. Any minor setback can feel very demoralizing. For example, me, when I started African Designers Month, before my launch, I had everything planned out. And the day before, I realized that my website wasn't ready. After I had a deep conversation with my team, I was so sad. Everything was planned. Should I cancel the event? I'd spent so much. The most important thing was for people to see the website and see what we're working on. And it wasn't ready. I was so sad. I cried. But luckily for me, I had a support system that helped me through that time. They talked me over being sad, and we found another way to launch without the website going live. So it's an experience I had. If I didn't have that support, I could have been depressed. Now, the takeaway here is the startups and entrepreneurs need to begin a real conversation surrounding the dangers of unchecked stress and pressure. Otherwise, the industry will keep losing bright young minds when it could be helping them reach even greater heights. So here I have Grant, who works with an international firm. He's a 9 to 5er. So, and I want him to share his experience in that field, um, not just about entrepreneurs. I want him to say something in terms of mental health. So, Grant, do you think you can pray away mental illness? What is your take on just being spiritual about it and not focusing on getting help?
I think um, mental health is something that should be taken very seriously. We have been looking down on it or criticizing anyone that would mention mental health issues. So this has been an avalanche of problems, and we've seen how people have, broken down from many working hours and not being able to find time to, you know, get help or talk to someone. We live in a society where we are constantly under pressure to improve and sort of uh, just being just trying to be on top, and people are facing so many issues that they don't want to share with anyone.
Absolutely.
They feel that it's better to keep it to themselves, and they're going
And pray
through.
about it.
Yeah,
But
and
do you think praying alone can take away mental issues?
I don't believe that. I
Yeah,
now the world is beginning to see the importance of mental health. Uh, in the past, people always associated it with something that you should just pray about and need to go away, but it doesn't. That is not the case anymore. You need sometimes to go and talk to someone, that would help you, be objective and try to help you get better.
Yeah, because even the Bible says that faith without work is dead. So it's important to pray about it. It's also important to get professional help because God has also given wisdom to these doctors to be able to help, people and not just pray and think it's going to go away because it has to do with real issues. It has to do with the mind. It has to do with depression. It has to do with people reassuring themselves that they are worth living.
Yeah, the way I like the way you said it there, which is uh, truth to it. The fact that God gave these professionals knowledge so that they could also help people in need. Doctors that know how to fix the body. Uh, it's something it's knowledge from God. So
Absolutely.
so doctors, there are doctors that can fix your body. There are doctors that can also fix your mind or help you fix
Mhm.
your mind. So this is something that people should actually take seriously in their everyday life.
Absolutely. So now I want us to discuss how entrepreneurs and every other person can begin creating a healthier environment for themselves and their colleagues. I believe I have about three major ways they can do that. One is support. I believe support is an incredible means of alleviating pressure that anyone faces, especially entrepreneurs and startups. Maybe this means um, meeting with co-founders or other team members who feel the same way, have the same intensity about a project or a business. Maybe seeing a therapist who can talk through difficult subjects. It's easier for a person to cope with setbacks rather than being dragged under the setback. And I believe it's only support that can actually help people in that zone to come on top of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. We all need to support each other one way or the other, especially here in Africa and also here in Nigeria, and even across the world, where you have entrepreneurs, those that have been very successful,
Yeah,
and including those that trying to start up their business.
right. That's
So
even harder.
these people would always and definitely face challenges, and
Right.
these challenges, yes, there's knowledge out there to help you go through, find a way to be better at your business, whatever you're trying to get into. But at the same time, there are challenges that could also impact your mental health, how you are thinking mentally, and you need to stay strong and support, whether it's having communities where people can come together
Yeah.
and talk about certain problems that they would normally not talk
Talk
about.
about exactly.
And this is something that could actually be very helpful, not only in the entrepreneurial communities, but also the you know, daily job community, people that actually work in 9 to 5 for an employer. So yeah, I believe that is also critical.
So another factor I believe can create a healthier environment for entrepreneurs is self-compassion, because how people perceive themselves changes what they think they're capable of. The mind is powerful regardless of the objective truth of the matter. The way you think can change everything about the way you act or the way you approach a particular problem. What do you think about that?
Well, I looking at it, well, I'm not an. I would say I'm a. It's when it comes to entrepreneur, I have an idea of what it's all about. I'm not an entrepreneur, but maybe I am in some cases. So when you talk about self-compassion and how you need to tune your mind, this is also part of where support comes in, because people believe that everything would work out the way they want it to be, and when they eventually hit stumbling blocks, obstacles in front of them, they don't know how to react. They don't know what the next step is,
Yeah.
and they lose hope in themselves, and
Yeah.
they
They
don't.
start questioning,
Yes,
yeah,
they
what am
go.
I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Or start looking for validation and
Hmm.
things like that. You
Yeah.
lose yourself, you lose your worth, you lose what you think, you can achieve with this. You start doubting yourself.
Yeah, and self compassion, it's where you need to also tell yourself that this is part of life. This is part of the waves. The life,
Exactly.
there's
It's not a
always going to
straight
be
road.
up and down, and you need to keep your head up
Yeah.
and keep moving.
Yeah, so another one is compartmentalization. It's a critical skill that many successful entrepreneurs emphasize. Being a founder can be all consuming. You know how mine went, right?
Mhm.
I was like a mad person, trying to drive, trying to put everything up. So it's important to remember that success is measured in many ways that evolve as the business grows. Because the quality of relationships, time spent with family and friends, the conversations with supportive loved ones, these are all measures of success. They should not, entrepreneurs should not forget that the difference between working hard toward a goal and letting that single goal eat up all their self-esteem. Spending time with family, spending time with loved ones, other things can also be a part of growth.
Yeah, I believe that so well. I'm a family guy, so
Yes,
I
you are.
I know how that really helps me. Not just because I want to stay with family, but because of the healthy aspect of it. When it comes to mentally uh, striving in today's world, and you need to still have time to spend with family, or even yourself,
Yeah,
not just family, but for yourself also. If you're going to the gym to ease off your mind, if you're going to have a massage, or dance class, something that just takes away that takes off the stress and helps you to be calm. and
exactly.
and yeah, I believe
Yeah,
it's important to find time to do other things and not get very consumed with those targets and goals that you
yeah.
want to
I'm,
achieve.
I'm, I'm still I'm still learning that as well. It's not easy. The last one, and it's really, really important. This has helped me so much. Is core values. So it's important to always have a clear sense of values and then understanding of why your business started in the first place. Failures and setbacks happen to everyone. That's no secret at all. What makes a person unique, successful, and strong is the ability to acknowledge that failure, learn from it, and then get up and keep going. Let me give an example. The Amazon director, that's the former PepsiCo CEO, right? It's a great example of someone I look up to. She has a clear core values guiding her. Everything she's done, she always drives the core values. And one of the values is never to forget the people who make up a company. And to reinforce this, do you know what she did? She regularly sent out handwritten notes to employees and their parents, complimenting their contributions and thanking them for all they've done. And that has a way of, you know, inclusivity, making them know how important they are, and by always keeping in mind what's important. She helps to create a healthy, productive environment for herself and the people who work with her. So it also starts with the entrepreneur down to the workers, the way you relate to people, because they're the ones that make your business. Do you agree?
Yes, yes, I do. I believe that.
Yeah.
So this, when it comes to core values, I feel that if you don't have a core value that as an entrepreneur that you want to pass down to your employees, or even for yourself, when you're talking about ethics, you it's very hard to be successful. Now, I'm not an entrepreneur, as I said earlier, but I noticed this in in companies that are struggling, it's well evident when you realize that they lack values. Things are done anyhow they want to do it, and you see that the next thing you know, they're losing money and they're losing customers because of the fact that there is no value, there's no core value that is being driven from top to down. And
Yeah.
this is something that entrepreneurs should be very, very wary of, is to have core values that they need to have for themselves and also for the company or companies that they are building and growing. So yeah,
So I know you've worked for um, a Nigerian company and you work more for international companies. So do you think it's any difference between the entrepreneurs that are African and ones that are not the non-Africans? Do they handle their staff differently from your own experience?
yes, they do. It's well evident since the first day I started in an international company. I could already see the mass difference between working for them and also working in a Nigerian company. I wouldn't say African because I would like to. I know that all African environments are different. Of course, we have similar characteristics,
Absolutely.
but I would only speak for Nigeria, and with the experience that I've had, and also knowing the experiences from my friends and my family members, whoever has worked in Nigerian company, I can already understand that we have a way of working,
Absolutely.
and
I agree.
even the what I noticed is their lack of, I wouldn't say values. I would say the way things are done, and there's this gap between how you should work, how you should do
Treat your
things.
employees.
Yeah, yeah, how yeah, from how the employers treats their employees and even the employees themselves, because they are not getting it fully. Uh, they're not
Right.
getting that value. They don't recognize it properly. They're just working because of the money to
Absolutely.
survive. So at the end of the day, uh, people, the employees do not commit themselves as
Mm-hmm.
they should,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that it's a difference. I wouldn't say that all international companies are better. Of course, there are some that would also have their issues, but I know that from my experience that the ones where I worked in and the ones where I know my friends have worked in, they here in Nigeria, I know that there's when it comes to core values, they could scream about it and say yes, we have it, but are they really communicating that to their employees? And they themselves, how are they uh, how do they recognize this value that they have set for themselves and the company? So yeah, I think it's something that there's a difference there. And of course, one more thing is that the people over the international uh, colleagues that I have, they have time they
To other
to
things.
do other things
Yeah.
that help them to,
Mhm.
they probably don't even know that they have a better mental health than we do, because
So what do you guys do?
we have the fact that your time is important. Nobody encroaches on your time. Some
Exactly. Nobody calls you up a weekend and tells you, oh, go
Yeah,
and do this or do that. Everybody respects each other's time.
yes.
You guys do games together.
It's not that it is mandatory, but
Right.
people they try to give you that respect, that it's your time,
Absolutely.
and they would request, please, we need you to do
Hmm.
this. And if it's something that's going to be regular, you will be compensated for it. So that is one. Another thing is, you have the timing when you close, and everybody, you go home and you go do what you want to do. Here, we are most of the time forced to stay longer hours in the office and no time for ourselves. And the next thing you know, the only thing we can think about is going to a bar, to go and drink, watch football, which
Right.
can be very stressful. When but with anxiety and things we don't know, but we could something that people should be wary about. In terms of the differences and how we can improve.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Grant. Um, Discussing from a professional perspective and not just from me that is an entrepreneur. So that's why I brought you on. So not just people that have their own businesses can also um, learn from this. People that work 9 to 5 also need to also check their mental state all the time. So, guys, feeling overwhelmed is not something to be ashamed of. Often, entrepreneurs don't want to admit weakness. It's our nature not to accept defeat. We are too busy trying to make our startup works, and we don't recognize the problems that we're having in our lives. By recognizing these problems, this real harm of unchecked stress, and the damage it can do, and acknowledging that no one is immune to this problem. The entrepreneurial world can move forward to a healthier and happier future if we always um, acknowledge that we need to check our mental state. Please, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, even when you're not feeling overwhelmed, just normally talk to someone, talk to a professional. You know, let's begin the effort now.
Yeah, if you don't have access to a professional, you can always try to find a friend that you could always call, or a
Talk
mentor,
to a family member,
a mentor
or
that
even send me a message, send me an email, send me. I can always refer you to someone you can talk to. We're all in this together. It's not something. This is a crazy time where you need support the most because most businesses are not profitable. Everybody's trying to find ways to make more money, keep their businesses afloat. So yeah, it's a time that mental health is supposed to be taken more seriously than ever. On this note, thank you guys again. This is the entrepreneur's experience. See you next time.